Hi everybody, it's Star, and I am going to do a tutorial on some cemetery, haunted, spooky house kind of nails. And I hope that you guys will enjoy it. I'm going to be using my own hand. I did this one first, and then I'm going to do this one for you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, for those of you who did not see my previous video, I talked about liquid latex and how you can use it to protect your skin, but how it's really expensive unless you go to Walmart in the Halloween section and you find their great big 16-ounce container of liquid latex, and it works just as effectively. So I took an empty nail polish bottle and I put my liquid latex in there. And the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to cover the area around our finger so that when we sponge on the gradient, it won't mess up, get all over our skin. It just makes it easier for cleanup. Plus, to be perfectly honest, I'm kind of a child at heart, and it's a lot of fun to peel this off your hand. So you want to go kind of high and make sure you cover the sides of your finger like that. And then we're going to go ahead and do that to the rest of them. Okay, so I got all my fingers done and it is currently drying. The colors that I'm going to use today is OPI, in Color So Hot It Burns. Let's see if I can get this zoomed out. Color So Hot It Burns. OPI and I Just Can't Copacabana. It's really yellow. It's not really as bright as it's looking on the camera, but next one is China Glaze, and this one is White on White. And then Nina, which you can't see the label, in black, very blunt. CoverGirl Outlast, and this color is 322. And then Essie, and it is color 7. Oh, I'm sorry, here we go. Find Me an Oasis. And the base color that we're going to use is 2 Essie colors, and this one is Butler Please, which I know it's not focused for whatever reason. Butler Please. And this one is Mod Square. And those are the base colors that we're going to work with. I know that you guys are seeing the holographic stuff on my fingers, and that is because I put gel polish on my nails first to give it a little bit of a structure and strength. Because of my health issues, my nails are very brittle and they break so easily. So that's what we're going to be working with. Now that this is dry, we can go ahead and start doing our gradient. Okay, you want to put a pretty healthy coat on there and kind of overlap the pink onto the blue. And then you are going to go in and start high. And we're just going to go like this. And dab, dab, dab. And work our way down. And then while that one's drying, we'll go on to the second one. Okay, now that we're on to the second one, we are going to take and go over it. I'm sorry that this is not like centered or anything like that. It's just really hard to do this underneath the camera, and I apologize. So just kind of work the blue down slowly in increments so that you can make sure it's not too far, like that. Okay, so I went ahead and did the gradient on my fingers, and you can see how big of a mess it is, so that's why it's good to have the peel off stuff, the liquid latex, sorry. And so then you go in and you kind of scoop it up, and then you just grab a hold of it and peel. Now be sure not to drag it across the nail, because the nail is probably still very wet, and you don't want to do that because then it'll stick and it'll make a big mess out of what you just worked really hard to do. So that's how you do that. And you just go through and you do the rest of them just like that. Once you get it all peeled off, then you're going to take, and I just bought cheapo paintbrushes from Walmart, but you're going to take one that has a blunt edge to it, and you're going to dip it in a little bit of acetone, and then you're just going to go along the edge of your nail. Oh, and mine's all gunky from the other stuff. 1 second. Okay, so let's try that again now that I have some clean acetone. We're going to take and clean that out and just go all the way around the nail and just work on that. Get up all the little stuff that you see along there. If there are some areas that you see that you didn't necessarily get filled in with the gradient, it's okay. You can either go back in with just like the corner of your sponge, just put a little bit on there and dab into that, or you can wait and see what happens, because some of the artwork for what we're going to be doing might cover that up. Like if we put a tree over here, the black will cover that up. So I'm not going to be too concerned about it. But this is what you will have at this point. And what we're going to do is go over it with a, I've got the OPI top coat. And the reason we're going to do that is because it will, right now the gradient has left it kind of textured. So if you go in with this top coat, it will smooth it out and it'll be much easier to paint on it with it being smooth. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And you want to do it just real thin, nothing too crazy. And then we're going to let that dry. So once the top coat that we put on has dried up a little bit, then you're going to take, and again, I just have a cheap little paintbrush from Walmart, and it was one of the short tipped ones, and I took and trimmed it to make it much thinner, so you get a more exact tip, exact line when you paint with it. There's lots of videos on how to do this. Mine's not the best, but you know what, it really does work. So this is what I am using. But if you have the fancy ones, you know, that are meant for nail art, then more power to you. I just cannot afford that. So we're going to take this and we're going to open our first nail polish, which is the Nina in black. And we are going to start off making our lines, our bottom where you can clearly see the ground. And what you're going to do is just, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight line. You want it to be, you know, kind of different, because ground is not perfect. It's got hills and bumps, and you know, that's just how it is. So you're going to do that, and then you're going to fill it in. And I suggest, if you are planning on doing this, attempting this, you make sure that you have a block of time cut out of your day that you can dedicate to this, because it is going to take a little bit of time. This isn't something that you can do quickly in, you know, 20 minutes. but that is the price of having beautiful nails. So you're going to do that, and you're going to do it to all of the nails. Okay, so once you're done with that, this is what you're going to have. And then clean up your brush so that you have a nice, thin line again, because it will get gooped up from you trying to fill the black part in. And then you're going to go in and, just kind of wing it. I usually pick what I'm going to do the big stuff on. Like, on this nail, I do a tree, and then maybe on this one just have some tombstones. On this one maybe do a house, and then on my pinky some more tombstones, and then on the thumb have a house with a tree maybe, because it's the widest finger that I have. So this is going to be the tricky part. Okay, so I'm going to do the best that I possibly can to show you guys how I do the nail art. It's going to be very tricky because sometimes I have to actually lift my hand up closer to my face so I can see and whatnot, but I am going to try my hardest. So I'm going to start off with the house, and so I'm just going to dab a little bit of paint on my brush, and I'm just going to start by drawing the roof, which will be a peak, and then come down on this side. And let's see if I can zoom you in a little bit. Focus. Okay. So once you have the roof done, then you're gonna take, and I like to leave like a little lip for the roof off to the side there. So I just usually come in just short of the tip of the roof. And you're going to fill that in. So there's the beginning of our house. I went ahead and filled it in because I don't want to make this video too long. So you do that part, and then you say, okay, well, I'm going to do a cross type of grave marker. So then again, you dip your brush in the black, and then just come off to the side here and draw a thin line down, and then cross it. Like so. So there you have your cross. I think on this side I'm going to do a moon for this nail. Put a little, you know what, no, I think I'm just going to do some clouds. So I'll show you how I do a cloud. I use my silver and my SE color Find Me an Oasis, and then I also take, and on a little piece of plastic I dab some of my black and white, and so that I can mix it together and make a little bit of a gray color. Okay, so what we're gonna do is put a little bit of silver on the brush, and you can find your own way of doing it, I suppose, because you don't want it to be like perfectly round. That's not what clouds look like. So what I typically do is just kind of dab it and just kind of make it go different directions, and so that it has a unique shape. And then I go over it with the Find Me an Oasis and the Essie, like that, and just kind of mix it in there so that it gives it a little bit of a gray silver tone. And then once I do that, then I take and mix just a little bit of that black and white together to give me a gray. And then I take that and I go in and just, you don't want to do it everywhere, just little chunks here and there, just add some dotting of that. And it gives you a little bit of a textured cloud. So then next, we want to do, we'll go to this nail and we'll do a tree and some gravestones. I usually, like I said, I like to do the big stuff and then follow through with the smaller things so that I have a basic outline of where my stuff is going to be. So then we're going to take our black again and just put a little bit on your brush. And I think I'm going to put my tree along this side of my nail. And again, you don't want it to be perfectly straight because there are no trees out there that I have ever seen that are 100% perfectly straight. So you're going to fill that in and just go up it like that. Now, I never do the branches on my tree until I decide where I'm going to put moons and clouds, so that I can always make sure that the branches work around where the moon and the clouds are. Oh, I almost dipped my hand in that white and black mix. So once we have that filled in, then we're going to make a tombstone. And a tombstone is super easy. You go in and you have 2 lines, like so. And then you just kind of round off the top, give it a little bit of a rounded arch. And that's it. And then you fill it in. Just like that. And that's a tombstone. And then we'll do a smaller one right next to it so it looks like it's kind of in the background there. There. And then we'll go in, let's say, with a couple of crosses really quick. And the crosses, again, are just really simple 2-line, just like that. And we'll draw a small one to make it look like it's further back. There. So then we will come over to this finger and maybe do a tree along here and some crosses. So again, it doesn't want it to be perfectly straight. You want it to look real. So no perfectly straight lines. Okay, and then do 2 tombstones. Do one that's maybe a little bit bigger so that we can try and write on it, which is not an easy task at all. I have tried a few times and it's just not very easy to do. Okay, and on this one, we're just going to do a couple of crosses. Keep that one simple. Okay, and then we're going to go to our thumb. And we're going to do a house on this one with a tree. Okay, so I went ahead and did that one because it's basically the structure of the house and the tree, which you guys have seen me do. So then I'm going to say that let's do the windows on the house. And that's where you take your white and you go in with a little bit of it and just paint a square, however big you want the window to be. And if you make a mistake, don't get too upset. Like, you can just go in with the black and dot over and fix it, and, you know, try again. So once you do that, then you're going to go in with your yellow and give that window some light. Like so. Okay, then I think, how about on the thumb we do a moon? So get your white on your brush again, and you're just going to do a circle as round as you can. Fill it in. And then take your yellow and go over it. And then you're going to take your red and just go around the outside of it. And when you do that, it will kind of, because it's so wet still, you can still work with it and kind of blend it to give your moon a nice orange color. So you're going to go in and go around the outside like so. And then just kind of wipe your brush off, get the majority of that red off there, and then you're just gonna kind of blend it in. If you need to, you can always add more yellow. And it'll work that red in there, kind of streak it and bleed it into the rest of it. And that, my friends, is how you get a moon. So now that we have the moon, we can go ahead and do our window on this house. And I think I'm going to do a small one here, and then do a window up here too. See how that works out. Okay. And then let that dry up a little bit before you put your yellow on. We'll go over here to our tree and fill in the limbs. And that is really, all you have to do is take your brush and start like over here, and you don't have to have it perfect, but run it to the tree and give yourself another long limb coming off in a direction. Go further down the base of the trunk and give yourself another longer limb, and maybe even come off this side and do the same, unless you botch it like I just did. And then you're going to take and start drawing off of your long limbs. And the way I remember to do it is just think of a Y. That's all you really need to do, is a Y pattern. And It's really that simple. Go through and do it to all of the branches as much as you fill it in as much as you want. I like mine to still be kind of bare because I think that they have more of a spooky feel that way. But it's entirely up to you and what you are feeling. And I really can't draw. I have no artistic bone in my body as far as drawing or painting. So this one's simple enough that I can do it, so I'm pretty sure anybody can do this. So there's the tree and your moon. And then we'll go over the window with our yellow. Like so. And then we're going to take a little bit of black and go over that. Just give your window lines like it's the wooden structure of the window. And I'm gonna do a dot up here just so that it looks like a person that's like sitting up there. I think that makes it look really cool. Okay, and then I would say this nail is good. Maybe if you want, you can add a cloud later on and see how you feel about it. And then you just go in and you fill in the rest of your nails the way that you would want to. Okay, so I went ahead and I filled in the rest of my nails. It's all stuff that I showed you and explained to you. On this nail, I went ahead and did like a cloud passing over the moon. And then I took a couple of very small, you know, just little poofs to make it look like clouds that are further away. On this one, I took and wrote RIP with a cross and then did the tree limbs like so. Put a couple of clouds in there between the tree branches and stuff. This one, I decided to put a little bit of moon, make it look like it was peeking out from behind the cloud, and then added just a little couple of tufts to make it look like further away clouds. On this one, I did the same thing, just some crosses and then some clouds through the trees. And then on this one, well, you guys seen this one in full detail. This is what I did. So that's it. Then you are going to let it dry. On your little tombstones that are really, really small, you can just take and maybe a little bit of white and just kind of scrawl so it looks like writing. It was extremely hard to get RIP on this nail. There was no way I could have recorded it to show you guys. It was just very, very hard. But after that, after you're done doing what you want to do on your nail, then you are going to put a top coat on it and let it dry, and then you are fabulously haunted and ready to go for Halloween. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial and that it was helpful and showed you guys that even with minimal artistic abilities, you can still do some really, really awesome things if you don't have the money for stencils or, you know, any of the other stuff. So if you like this and you like my channel, please remember to subscribe and click the little bell button so you get notified when I post new videos. And you can also follow me on Facebook if you go for Star Dixon, D-I-X-O-N. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat as StartasticTime. And go ahead and add me on those, and there's going to be lots of pictures and You know, also just personal things, you know, things about my day and baking a cake and things that I don't always make a video about, little arts and crafts that I've done. So definitely please add me on those and follow me, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. And definitely send me some pictures and let me see how you guys did if you try this. Alright, thanks everybody. Bye.